Hey sisters! Business networking is a vital skill, whether this is for your business or for your own career. Networking is something that we can all shy away from if we are nervous, shy, or not very sure of ourselves. If you're that wallflower, the idea of going to a networking meeting can be truly awful. And networking is so much more important now than it ever has been. With the advent of social media and indeed face-to-face communication such as Zoom and other video channels, networking has become much more important. If it's something you don't want to do and something you shy away from, then it's going to be very difficult for you. And I think as women we tend to hide our light under a bushel, particularly if you're a midlife lady returning to work or changing your career. The idea of putting yourself out there as a networker must be terrifying. It's something that I struggle with, believe it or not. I was a shy child and I had learning difficulties, so making friends was always difficult for me. And now I still have to put myself out there day by day just to make sure that I can network and that my business grows and continues to help people. But it is a learned and disciplined behaviour. At worst you will see this as manipulative, and at best you will see it as challenging. But it doesn't have to be that way. Networking is a key social skill, not just for your work environment, but also useful in your home situation too. You need to put yourselves out there. People are looking forward to hearing from you, I'm absolutely sure. So let me give you my hints and tips as to how to network better or to start networking at all. Let's demystify this and take away some of the fear. So start small. Let's demystify the process of networking. Start with family and friends. So you can start by engaging your family in conversation about things that interest you, or indeed your business or your career. And your family will have friends that are not necessarily your friends, and therefore you can grow and build your network that way. It's a nice, safe environment. The same applies to your friends. Talk to your friends about your career, your business or your interest. You'd be surprised how engaging you can be when it's a passion of yours. And obviously they too will have friends of friends. It's a nice, safe environment in order to get you used to talking to people you're not that close to. Indeed, it's a nice, safe environment to get you used to talking to people generally. And who knows, you might find they also have a passion for llama farming just like you, or they might be able to help you out in your career. But better still, you might be able to help them out in their career. It's all about giving when you're starting to network. It shouldn't be about schmoozing. It should be about a genuine conversation, a genuine engagement with another individual. Start with family and friends. Stop apologising. Inexperienced networkers often apologise because they see networking as an imposition and an interruption, not an exercise in helping people and getting to know people. Stop apologising. I know that you feel shy and you're not very confident. And again, ladies over 50 who haven't had to do this for a while, I can totally relate to that. The problem is if you are shy and this comes out with an apology, it makes you sound ineffective and it makes you sound as if you're not sure of your subject, and we know that you are. Your products, your services, you are an amazing thing, and people need to know this. And if you apologise to someone, it actually starts to make them feel a little bit uncomfortable. Rather, it can do, it doesn't have to. So if you're starting the conversation by apologising for even interrupting them, why should they take the conversation? Why should they continue to talk to you? I know it's a really difficult thing to do. Networking isn't an imposition. It's about an exchange of ideas and facts and getting to know people. You know, give something before you get something back. It's a very generous environment to be in. Offer to get someone a cup of tea from the cafe. Offer to talk to somebody else or introduce somebody if you've brought a colleague along. Don't apologise, ladies. It doesn't do you any favours. Let me give you a real life example, ladies. A few years ago, I was in my sales training business at an event. I suppose you could include it as a networking event. And during one of the breaks, a lovely lady came up to me and we started discussing networking. And she admitted to me she was terrified, absolutely terrified of networking and networking events. Now, I was really shocked. The woman in front of me was beautiful, confident, obviously knew her skill set and her product really well and very well presented. Now, it turns out she was a commercial insurance broker, and part of the big problem was most of her customers were hauliers and road transporters, and she had absolutely nothing in common with them. Now, imagine, if you will, somebody who could wear a wife-beater t-shirt, that kind of environment. No, they didn't. What I'm trying to get across is it was all grease and grime and completely different to this beautiful lady in front of me. She felt very uncomfortable. In fact, she even admitted she would rather go to the dentist than go to a networking event. And she could prove this because she was having ongoing dental work and tried to book the appointments right when those networking events should take place. So she and I had a long conversation and it went on for a while, but the main point of this was we discussed the fact that actually what she could use these networking events for was further research about her customers. It was not an environment for her to sell her product. It was not an environment for her to demonstrate what she could do in terms of getting more customers. It was an environment where she could research her clients and suggest solutions. Now, that was the key. It was the fact that she could go to these events and talk about how to help people, how she had helped people in the past, and indeed how she could actually help these guys. She really knew her stuff. And this calmed her a little because it turns out that she was pretty much an expert in her area. She would mix with individuals across the industry and across the trade. And what she hadn't realised is the fact that she mixed with individuals who wouldn't necessarily get together on a regular basis. So she knew more than they did. So she was a font of all knowledge about certain tricks and issues in their business that they hadn't thought about. And she knew people that they would love to get to know. Now, how about that for networking, ladies? So the point being, you can be generous in networking. It's about giving out. It's not about taking. It's not about going up to someone and saying, hello, my name's Wendy the Brainy Biscuit and I'd like to sell you some training, please. No, it's much more about how you can help them, how you can research your market, etc. So I hope that little story helps. I know that she got a lot more relaxed about it after that. It took the pressure off, and I'm sure that when she took a deep breath and walked into those meetings, she felt an awful lot more confident. I know she certainly hit her sales targets, and that means she had to talk to people, so I'm guessing it worked. I often think that if you are shy or lacking in confidence, when you attend a networking event, you feel you should be larger than life. You should be the Energizer Bunny. And that's not necessarily the case. In fact, it's probably not a good idea. I don't know if you've seen the programme The Office, but I'm sure you can think of characters in that try too hard and put on a fake persona. People always see through it, and it can be a little embarrassing for the watcher. So bear in mind how other people see you. Just be yourself, maybe a slightly exaggerated version of yourself, but be yourself. Be authentic, and if you are a humble, shy person, be that humble, shy person. But make sure that you are genuine and that you do mix and try and talk to other individuals. We don't have to be somebody we're not. I mean, I would like to be an awful lot of people, but you go to a networking event, really trust me, they don't expect you to be Michelle Obama or some Hollywood star. They really expect you to be you. Tap into your passions. I recommend joining clubs, finding people who have interests in common with yourself. Now, whether that means you are joining a book club because you're an avid reader, or you're a llama farmer and you're looking for somebody else to discuss llama breeding with, or you could simply be a gardener who wants to talk horticulture and soil samples with other individuals. If you have a passion, it will make it easier to connect with people. You already have a good starting point. It's a way of getting to know individuals, and guess what? That's networking. Yes, they actually could have in their real day-to-day lives something that is useful to you, or you can have something that's useful to them. That's not the point of it. It gives you both practice and something to connect with on an individual basis. You know, there's nothing easier than asking about your llama breeding friends' baby llamas, and it suddenly connects the two of you, and it makes life much more exciting and interesting. And if you're excited and interested, your face will beam and you'll become much more relaxed. And if you can become relaxed in that situation, you can carry this forward into other networking situations too. It doesn't have to be dramatic or even business related. Joining clubs or associations that share your passion will help build your confidence and the skill of talking to strangers. And that's what it's all about, getting to know people. You know, if you've got this book club and you're discussing Harry Potter 3, sorry, I don't know all of the names of the Harry Potter books, that's fantastic, and you might work yourself up to 50 Shades of Grey. I don't know, but at least it's an environment in which you feel safe and comfortable. It teaches you to ask questions, and it allows people to talk to you in a natural way. Get your natural responses. Once you've practiced all of this, taking this into a business situation or something that's less informal for you is probably going to be much easier. Ask for introductions. Okay, so you're at a networking event, you've arrived, you've taken off your coat, you've grabbed yourself a cup of coffee, and there's somebody stood next to you and you start chatting to them. Thank God, you think, you calm your breath a little, you've got someone you can chat to. Now, the natural thing to do is to stick closely by their side, like glue in fact, and that's the problem with being shy at a networking event. You don't want to put yourself out there, you've suddenly reached a safety net. Now, obviously going to networking events is to meet other people, so why not suggest to your buddy he or she can make some introductions. Do you know anybody else that does such and such? Would you mind introducing me to such and such? Have you been here before? Do you know Dick, Jane and Spot? Because I would absolutely love to meet them. Your buddy could have buddies and they can introduce you to their buddies. That's very difficult to say. So at a networking event, don't stand in a corner, don't grab hold of the first person you see. And if you do get on with somebody, ask them if they can introduce you to somebody. And the same applies the other way around. If you're talking with someone, offer to introduce them to other individuals. For example, you may have gone along to the event with a colleague, and simply introducing the two new individuals to each other is what networking is all about. The other thing to do is to talk to the networking group organizer. It's in their best interest to make sure that people mix and mingle. That's what it's there for. That's what it's all about. So talk to them, explain that you are terribly shy and could they make some introductions on your behalf, or explain that you're very interested in tarantulas shoes and you've been making and selling them for a long time and you understand somebody is there who would like to buy some. Could they make an introduction? It's all about that little first step. Once you're in the flow of things, trust me, it will become an awful lot easier. So don't stand in the corner, don't hog that one person that you first met. See if you can put yourself out there. I mean, all you have to do is just ask nicely, can you introduce me to somebody else? Do you know anybody else in this subject, or do you know anybody else in this group? Now, obviously, if the girl you're talking to doesn't know anybody in that particular group, or cannot introduce you in other environments, suddenly you've got a buddy and the pair of you can go and introduce yourselves to someone together. Hey, we're new, we've just met up, what are you doing here? I know it sounds challenging, but it is easier than you think, I promise. Be generous. Offer before you take. The networking event is all about getting to know people, yes, and you may well be there because you want to sell your product, grow your business, or make additional connections that will help you in the future. But it's not about taking. A networking event is about giving. So offer some advice, offer some personal information at the initial stages of meeting someone new for the first time. Those little things can really help people warm towards you. And if you offer something, you will often find that they reciprocate and give you something in return. So simply asking them a question about their business first will probably get them talking, and once you're talking, it becomes an awful lot easier. Go into the situation being prepared for what you can give to somebody else in terms of your own personal generosity of personality, and I think you'll find it a lot easier. Networking is not about schmoozing, and it's not about being ungenuine. It really is about connecting with people in a professional way for everybody's benefit. Be prepared. Now, if you're attending a networking event, it could be a job forum, or it could simply be a business forum where you want to get more orders or more business, or that lovely new job that you've been desiring for ages. And it's a great way to introduce yourself to somebody who could potentially help you with all of that. But be prepared. It's a fantastic way to meet somebody, but there's lots of other people around you, and it's a very noisy environment in terms of actual noise, and people can get interrupted. No matter how much they're enjoying talking to you, they can see Dick, Jane or Spot across the room, and they need to talk to them about something they've been wanting to catch them about for ages. So be prepared with a pitch of sorts, whether this is your own personal pitch about how to get that fantastic job, or about your products and services, or even why you should connect with this person going forwards. Just have those words ready so that you can get them out in the conversation quickly. I'm sure you'll be engaging, and I'm so sure, oh dear me, I'm sure when they rush off to see Dick, Jane and Spot, they'll say something like, hang on, I'll be back in a moment. That's a really good point. But it is a distracted environment, so on one hand it works for you really, really well, and on the other hand, just be aware you're probably going to get 5 minutes, 10 minutes maximum of someone's focused attention before they move on. They too want to network and see who they can talk to about helping their business. Be prepared. Having met somebody, follow up. If they've given you a business card or their contact details, it's always really polite to drop them a quick note saying, hi, it was lovely to meet you. I enjoyed our conversation about whatever. Or if you've promised to send them some information about a certain thing, then do email them or call them, or what needs to be done. The example I can probably give you best is it will demonstrate your strength of character. So often we get terribly busy, and it's these little things that make all the difference. It will mean that that individual will remember you more than somebody else, and that's the important thing. And besides that, do you remember getting thank you letters from Christmas presents and things when you were a kid? I know I do. And a simple letter that said thank you so very much really struck home. And we get so little communication that is just about saying thank you or saying hello. So why not give it a try? If you're going to do something and you say you will, follow it up. Think about it for a second. Would you really want to do business with somebody who couldn't simply drop you a one-line email as a follow-up? I don't think that I would. And alternatively, would you want to introduce them to anybody in your network? I don't think so. It's common courtesy and it's often missed, but if you put the boot on the other foot and imagine how you would feel, it's great to receive something like this, but if you don't, it also stands out. Obviously, it's difficult to do, but once you make it a start, it becomes a lot easier. And once you get over that fear of rejection, it can become fun and it can become entertaining. It is difficult for when people say no to you, and it can sting a little bit, but know this, it's not personal. In most cases, they don't really mean it at all. They're just getting rid of you in a networking event to go and talk to somebody else. And I know that doesn't sound very nice, but I bet you've done it too. The other thing to bear in mind is they might not say no, they might say yes, and for the sake of that one little risk, you could get a yes that will change your life. Now, if you do struggle with sort of fear of rejection, I do have another post here on YouTube all about that, and it does give you some hacks as to how to deal with fear of rejection. Go for it. And no doesn't always mean no, it just means no now. It's not forever. And that yes could really change your world. So take a few risks. Talk to the person on the train next to you, see what they're interested in. You never know, you could help them or they could help you. Obviously don't interrupt them if they're reading a good book, and certainly don't disturb them if they've got their headphones on. But other than that, chat to individuals at the coffee bar. It's all good practice for you, it's all networking, and you don't know where it's going to lead. So that's the end of this particular video about networking. Obviously, I'm now going to ask you to tell your friends, and do you know anybody who could possibly use this video or might be interested in it, and tell their friends of friends of friends, and so you get the idea. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel. I would love to see you all again. Or head over to the brainybiscuit.com where I talk about you can have anything you want in this life. Alternatively, join me on Instagram at the Brainy Biscuit or at Facebook at the Brainy Biscuit. I would love to see you wherever you are, however you find me, and let's do some social networking and see if we can get together virtually and begin our own networking event. It's always a pleasure to talk to my sisters, my silver sisters, but for now all I have to say is do live your very best life, and bye now. I hope you've enjoyed this video about networking. Let's hope we can chat sometime. We might be able to help each other. We might have things in common. It's been great to get to know you. But in the meantime, tell you what, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and like the video if you've enjoyed it. Join me over at brainybiscuit.com where I'm putting out a free video about how to get anything you want, or pop along to Instagram where I post motivational snippets every day, which I'm sure you'll find really useful. So all I have to say is live your best life, and bye now.